Well, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally the things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this Sunday Stuff and Things, I'm here at the beach again, sitting on the butt rock, the pointy butt rock. I'm watching blue herons. There are several blue herons here. I wish I had brought my 600mm lens because I could get some amazing shots. There is one that's been fishing in this little cove over here. Maybe I'll try to turn the camera around at one point and, oh, is he getting one? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the blue heron, but I'd like to show you that at some point, possibly if we can. But we have many stuffs and things to talk about on this Sunday Stuff and Things, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and working. We're gonna talk about, what order do I have this in? I think we're gonna talk a little bit about limited blends. I was just doing a video on Sutliff The Old Boss, and I kind of want to get your guys' opinions. We always have so many planes. We have established that there is an airport near here, so that makes sense. I want to get your opinion on how I cover limited pipe blends. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about just how long the school year is for children now. I've received some disturbing news recently, and it made me look into like, how long is the school year? What's going on? But then we need to talk about something that has been one of the most controversial things repeatedly on my channel since the very beginning of my channel, something that people have discussed frequently in the comments, something that people have expressed great approval for and great disapproval for throughout the years. Probably, man, if I think about it, one of the things that has been most commented upon since I started this channel. So we're gonna get to that, and then finally at the end, we will have your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag #AskStuffandThings. So let's get into it. Here, cranny, 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 cranny. That's a crane call, by the way. Okay, gang, so what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things and working? Well, coming up, we will have the video on the Toscano Classico burning stick. Whether or not it is the burning stick that, I was about to say Tom Clancy, that Clint Eastwood used in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Spoilers, no, it's not. A lot of people were mentioning that in the comments. I did know that, and it was in that video, so you'll see that video and you'll hear what the actual burning stick was, but it's basically the same kind of burning stick. But I really enjoyed those Toscanos, and I have been enjoying those Toscanos, so check that video out. That'll be posting this Wednesday. After that, we're gonna have the Nix Pullmans, my custom engineer boots. We're gonna have the 6-month update for those boots. Boots that I received, I think in March, during a bad time in my life, but I've been enjoying having those boots. I've been using them a lot. I think they're fantastic. So check out the 6-month update for those. The following week, the week after that, we will have kind of a combination of a first impressions and review for Sutliff The Old Boss. Because it's a limited blend and I don't think it'll be available for very much longer, I didn't want to draw it out by doing a first impressions video and then a review, so we combine those two, and you can watch that video soon. And then we have episode 34 for working is out now. Yes, I think episode 34. Anyway, it's one where we're pouring concrete on an island. Please check out working if you haven't. It's very quick. It's very simple to do. There is a link in the description box below. All you do is you click on that link. Then when you get to the working page or the working YouTube channel, you hit that subscribe button. That's all you have to do. It's very simple, it's very easy, and it would mean a lot. Thanks so much. All right, so we have quite a few topics and we need to run through them quickly. So let's talk a little bit about these limited blends. I get sent things by Sutliff all the time. They sent me the Old Boss. They have sent me blends in their Birds of the Feather series. They have sent me blends in their Pipe Force series. And I like to discuss these blends because they're new and they're interesting, but at the same time, they're also limited. And so often by the time I get to them, they're not even available anymore. What I want to know from you is how many of you are interested in seeing dedicated videos on these blends? Is it worth it to you to hear my opinion about a blend that you might not be able to get? So if I really enjoy something, and you're like, oh, that sounds fantastic, but then you go online and find out that you can't get it, is that just annoying? Is that frustrating to you? Or is it just interesting to have that information, maybe for posterity's sake? I haven't totally made my mind up about it. My inclination is to make videos about it just because I think it's interesting content and it's cool. Like, we have so many pipe blends, there are so many pipe blends, there have been so many pipe blends, I have featured so many pipe blends on the channel, and a lot of those blends are kind of old, venerable blends that have been around for a long time. But I think it's cool to mix it up and have newer blends that are fresh on the market, maybe trying to do a fresh or new thing. And whether or not they are always available, it still seems worth it for me to talk about them. But I would like your opinion. I did obviously I just recorded the Old Boss video. We have done Pipe Force. We've done a couple of the Birds of the Feather series. It seems like the response has been good to those videos, but I would like to hear from you in the comments. Do you want me to keep featuring limited blends on the channel? Let me know. Craney boy. We're talking. Next, I was disturbed to hear, oh no, it's leaving. I was gonna try to show you the crane. Is it coming? It's coming right here. Oh my God. I hope you saw that. I hope it was in frame. I was disturbed to find out recently, my little brother and his wife and child moved back to Houston. I wasn't disturbed to find out about that. I mean, I was kind of disturbed that they did that. I was hoping they would stay here, but they didn't. They moved to Houston. And my little niece is 5 years old and she is starting kindergarten this year. And I was disturbed to find that she started kindergarten on August 14th. So barely half of August, not even half of August is done and they're starting school. And so I looked into it. I found out that in Houston, kindergarten starts August 14th. I think they get out sometime in May, so they get about 2.5 months off for the summer. But I looked up in Bellingham, school ends in Bellingham June 13th. So they have to go to school through half of June. And then it begins again August 29th. So they get like 2 months and a week off in the summer. Now I'm old, I do understand that. But when I was a kid, we didn't start school until after Labor Day. I'm pretty damn sure. It was into September. And we would get off. We would basically have all of June, all of July, and all of August off. And when I think about the quality of the education I received back then versus what it seems like the quality of the education is that people are receiving now, I would say that I don't think I was missing out by having those extra weeks off. I think having a full 3 months for summer vacation did not in any way hinder my intellectual development. So why do kids have to go to school for so long? I don't get it. Oh, that's another thing I learned is when I was a little kid, we went to kindergarten just for half days. It was 5 days a week, but they were half days. I think my niece goes all day, as far as I know, for kindergarten. So what is this about? Is this about people thinking that these kids need this extra time to learn things because they don't seem to be learning any more or any better than I did when I was a kid? Or is it just parents think of school as daycare and they'd rather just have the kids in school instead of having to deal with them all summer? I don't know. But I am glad that I grew up when I did. And that's not the only reason I'm glad that I grew up when I did. There are 1,000 reasons why I am glad I grew up when I did versus what it must be like to be a child now or what childhood is like now. But my God, only having like barely 2 months off for a summer vacation, that just seems horrible. I would hate that. That would drive me insane as a child. 3 months was never enough already when I was a kid. I mean, I never hated school. I always enjoyed getting back and seeing my friends and everything. But I certainly wouldn't have minded having 4 months off for summer break. Or for, I guess it would be like spring and summer break. But yeah, I don't think it's needed. I don't think the quality of education, I don't think has improved by forcing kids to be in school for as long as they are. Just weird. All right, but now gang, it is time to talk about a subject that comes up way more often than you would think on this channel, and it goes back all the way to the very beginning. And it's something we have talked about in the past, but because it keeps coming up, we have to talk about it again. And it's this hat. Man, the wind is really coming up. I hope the audio is not horrible. I have a little windsock on this, but it's very windy. I hope you will forgive it if it's a bad thing. This hat. This hat is one of the most divisive things that is ever shown on the channel, and I'm really nonplussed as to why that's the case. It just seems like a hat to me. It doesn't seem like there's anything particularly interesting about it. It doesn't seem like anything that should inspire strong feelings, either positive or negative. But it does, and it has throughout the history of this channel. Way back 9 years ago. Now, I have a bunch of comments that people have left. My God, this wind is really picking up. Ugh, gang, I am sorry if the audio is bad. I'm gonna try to put my back to the wind a little bit more. We're gonna keep plugging away here. I didn't pick out every comment because there have been literally probably well over 100 comments about this hat throughout the 10 years we've been doing the channel, but way back in the day at Jonas and Demi 100, 9 years ago. I love your hat. Can I know what kind of hat it is? At El Cazador 9963. Hi Bradley, what kind of hat are you wearing? Distorts ZZ. Like your vids, but put that hat in the bin or your pipe. Again, Distorts. Hat makes me sad. Johnny Edis. Cool look. What kind of coat and hat are you wearing? Glitterbrains. If you don't mind me asking, what sort of hat is that? Jorg Westerhoff. Nice hat. Rebkong. You only look like a hipster when you're wearing that funny hat. At Gaz McPherson. Just wondering what style of hat you're wearing. I love it and would love to get one. I'm in Australia, so I won't be killing your look. At Clay McBride. Why do you always wear that hat? At Live Gong something something. Brad, I'll trade you a pipe for your hat. At Makar. I wonder what type of hat that is. Crooks 44. Weird question, but where did you find that hat? At Paul. Love the hat. At Jack. Dislike the hat. At Paul the Scandinavian. Or is that it? No, at Paul the Searchlight Piper. Where did you get your hat? I like it. At Ice Blue Cuda. Hipster. Get a real hat. Zip your jacket. Don't be a dork. At user NJ6BT5, G blah blah blah. I knew this guy was gonna have an old guy hat. At Krishni Laglebla, what's with the hat? Are you a cyclist, a jockey? And then the most recent one from 9 days ago. So these were throughout the history of the channel. At Bambino762, that hat is very unmanly. I don't understand why there is so much discussion about this hat. So, I got this hat 24 years ago? 24 years ago, when I worked at a Bloomingdale's in Los Angeles. It is a Ben Sherman hat. I have no idea what the style would be called for this hat. It does kind of look like a jockey hat. It's a cap. It's a woolen cap. It's not quite a newsboy cap. It's not like a baseball cap. It's kind of this weird in-between sort of cap. I don't really know what you would call it. I do have hair. People have often asked, are you bald? Why do you wear a hat all the time? No, I do have hair. My hair just usually looks stupid and I like wearing hats. I don't want to take the time to comb my hair or put product in my hair, so I often wear hats. I don't understand why people get irritated by it. I do find it interesting that so many people like this hat, and that's a problem because I have not been able to find a replacement for this hat. Like I said, I've had this for 24 years. It will wear out eventually. It's amazing that it has lasted this long, but I'm sure it will wear out eventually, and I don't think I'll ever be able to replace it because I have never found another hat like this hat. Like I said, it feels like a Category 3 hurricane is about to strike here. The wind has picked up so badly. I hope the audio is actually usable. As I was saying, I wear the hat because I like it. A lot of people seem to like it as well. A lot of people really seem to dislike it, and that's what I'm more interested in, is I just don't understand why it inspires such hate. I guess it is just kind of different. You can't categorize it, so maybe that irritates people. But yeah, I like this hat. I love this hat. I've had this hat for over 2 decades. Hopefully it'll last for 2 decades more. I'm not sure if it will. But now, gang, we better get in, seaweed. We better get into hashtag #AskStuffandThings because my camera will shut off soon. The wind is very strong. I'm worried that you're not even gonna be able to hear anything I'm saying right now. So if you would like to leave a comment for me and have it read on the Sunday Stuff and Things, you can tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings. You can leave me questions, comments, and feedback via Patreon if you're a Patreon supporter, or you can leave questions, comments, and feedback in the YouTube's comment section of my YouTube videos. First of all, we have feedback from last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. This is from our good friend at Colin Kelly 279. I have tried super hard to get through the Iliad. I was talking about my obsession with ancient literature. That is definitely one of, that is definitely one of the easier to read versions, I guess the Lattimore translation, but I only take it in tiny doses before I have to go do something else. I guess they have been around for 1,000 years, so no rush for me to finish them. Oh, the wind. Yeah, I mean, the Iliad, it's been around for almost 3,000 years, I guess. When was it? 7th or 8th century BC? Yes, it's been around for a while. Yes, there are sections, especially the catalog of ships, that are a little tough to get through, but it's really worth it. Because if you read the Iliad, then you should read the Odyssey, and the Odyssey is literally a page turner. It's just so fun. And the Iliad, it gives good background, and there are some really amazing passages in the Iliad. So my advice, stick through it. Stick to it. At Manitoa1 says, the Latro books sound fascinating. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, definitely check out the Latro in the Mist or the Soldier in the Mist or whatever you want to call that series by Gene Wolfe. Absolutely fantastic. If you like, I guess you could call it historical literature because it is really well researched. It takes place right after the Second Persian War or at the conclusion of the Battle of Plataea, when the Greeks defeat the Persians in 479 BC, and that time period is really well researched and really well represented in the books, but then it does also have supernatural fantasy aspects. At the Solar Labyrinth, it will come as a little surprise that I also love the Latro books. That Gene Wolfe guy was pretty good. Yes, he was. I really need to reread them though, since I feel I have learned a lot more about the ancient world since I originally read them. And that is the boat I'm in as well. Since I've been doing all this research on ancient history, I'm picking up so much more from these books and just about Greek history and Greek's gods and goddesses. Unsurprisingly, like with most Wolfe books, I felt much of it was going over my head and I was only understanding about half of what was actually there. They definitely aren't easy reads and make you think, but I have not come across anything quite like them. Couldn't say it better myself. At Bannock Burn 111. I've read the first 2 books in the Latro series, but unaware of the third, so thanks for cluing me in. More Gene Wolfe to read is always a good thing. Yeah, and that second book, or the third book, was written like 2006 or 7, I think. The first 2 books were written in the mid to late 80s, so there was a big gap. At Smashing Artful, sharing your high school art, I can't wait. And no, I probably won't be brave enough to do the same. Ha ha ha. Yeah, so if you haven't watched the video that I posted last Wednesday, it was my embarrassing high school art, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. There are some very ridiculous pieces that I will show you, or I did show you on that video. Check it out. Now we have some feedback for my embarrassing high school art. This is at Southern Boy 37. The art is nostalgic because it reminds me of old 80s bubble and cartoon art. Yeah, I think looking back at it now, there is a very 90s quality to all that art. I mean, it was made in the 90s. I was a child of the 90s, so makes sense. Maybe not 80s, I don't know, but definitely 90s. At Valu, okay. Hi Bradley, honestly your artwork is not nearly as bad or embarrassing as you think. I'm 63 and didn't start learning to create art until I was 48. I'm retired now and spend lots of time creating art in colored pencil, oil pastel, and graphite and charcoal. Never thought I could ever do more than stick figures until I began to seriously learn and develop skills. It took some time and effort, but now I feel that I'm a reasonably competent artist in the media I work with. I guess I'm a semi-professional artist. I sell original pieces occasionally. Anyway, your work shows both talent, i.e. aptitude, and skill, in my opinion. Your style back then looks fairly abstract with some obvious cartoon styles. Are we still recording? Nothing wrong with that, and some of the portraits you did were quite good. Portraiture is maybe the hardest type of fine art to master. I still haven't mastered it, which is why I do mostly landscapes and still life. So bravo to you. Don't be embarrassed. In fact, although I know you are very busy, I encourage you to get that big drawing board and some appropriate materials and get back at it. If you do, be sure to show us what you create. I think you'll find your selection of subjects and your style will have changed since high school. Oh, and thanks for sharing. Thank you very much for the very kind comment. And yes, I think the subject matter is the biggest part of the embarrassment of showing those pictures. I think I could draw okay. I was just drawing ridiculous things. At Peter's Pipes 9698, hey, these are nothing to be ashamed of. The stuff I drew back in the day was way worse, but I still, as an adult, managed a decent run as a custom tattoo artist, and I still sell a painting or sculpture now and then. Very cool. At Solar Labyrinth, I'm 38 and still draw stick figures like I did when I was 8, so I aspire to create such embarrassing art. At Eladsgar, your work is actually pretty good. Imaginative. Shame you didn't continue with it. Your portraiture in particular showed promise. I went to vocational high school and studied commercial art. My ability to do portraits wasn't as good as yours. Thank you, at Eladsgar. And finally, at Chris Coffee, I get being embarrassed about your work. I did a podcast for a few years and I don't like hearing my own voice, but you're a talented artist and you can definitely draw. Thanks for this video. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've gotten over it by now. Excuse me. Still recording, that is good. But when I first started doing like podcasts and videos and things like that, I just annoyed the hell out of myself. I found myself so irritating. Obviously, I've been in bands and sang and everything for a long time, so I've always been hearing my voice, but just me, I found really obnoxious, so it took me a while to get over that. Anyway, gang, thanks for all that feedback. Please keep it coming in. It really helps make the show go. But now, it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Remember, if you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below, and it is much appreciated. It basically makes all of this possible. I wouldn't be able to continue doing these videos if I didn't have support on Patreon, and I'm always hoping for more support on Patreon so we can grow this show and keep doing things together. But every week, we shout out the people who support the channels at $25 or more a month. The producers, the heroes, people like Glenn Dunnington, Jason Buckner, Arcturus, Ashes of the Phoenix, Jonathon Proctor, Kyle Waitkunas, ConCoClem, Charles Mowers, and The Friendly Piper. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month, our good, solid, dependable friend, Bob Magee, and our newest Maniac, Ryan McFadin. We still need to hook up on Zoom, I guess, one of those face chatting things that people use when they don't want to work. So we need to do that soon, Ryan. And then, of course, our Hall of Fame member and dearly departed friend, our good friend, Peter Straub. Gang, lots to look forward to. I'm sorry I'm a little distracted because of the wind. I'm worried that none of this audio is going to work at all, and it's going to be very annoying. Hopefully it does, but lots of good videos to look forward to in the future. So please stay tuned. Keep all those comments coming in. Support on Patreon if you have the means. But until next time, until we meet again, I'm your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a Sunday. Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. God, I hope that worked. Really hope that worked. Get off the butt rock. Butt rock hurts.